Hello, hello! So, depending on what Roblox games you enjoy playing, you might know about the fairly basic protagonist. You know, the very boring design of, like, yellow skin, blue torso, green legs. It's boring! Well, in this video, I made some designs for them, overcomplicating these characters, so I hope you enjoy. I was originally going to do 4 games, however, I decided to bump it down to 3. Well, technically speaking, it is 5 games, but we're not talking about that because it's just 3 players. And one of those game series, I should say, is the nostalgic Hangout saga. Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest, I might be incredibly biased just because of pretty visuals, and I'm getting to the point where I actually really hate Forsaken and how it portrays the myths.
For the love of fuck, where's Noli's cult? Where the fuck is Noli's cult? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
But I will say, I really do enjoy these games. They definitely do follow the general walking simulator type deal. I do definitely wish that, like, it wasn't just a walking simulator where you could walk into the threats and actually die and such, and the stalker chase in Underground be a lot more interesting. I'm not going to really dug on Nostalgic and Crossroads too much, considering that they were made a decent amount of time ago. These games were made when the creator was quite young, so I can't really be too harsh to any of them, really. They definitely are worth a play, especially if you enjoy story games. Let me go ahead and get into the design. So I decided to base this character off of a noob, considering that you play as a noob no matter what your avatar is in the first game. Note, this might be changed, but I highly doubt it, and besides, noob works. So I tried to keep the general color palette, having there be yellow skin, a blue shirt, and green pants. Although I did make it a bit more detailed. And also, yes, I gave all these characters hair. To get some ideas for the general clothes and such, I decided to look at the fashion back in 2012, since that's where Nostalgic takes place. So I gave him a gray shirt, just to have a neutral color. I gave him a blue flannel, and then green skinny jeans, because I'm gonna be honest, I only really saw skinny jeans. And then some slip-ons so that I didn't have to worry about detailing the shoes, because it's really not fun to have to draw in laces. I didn't really do that for the hair. I did just go with, I did just look up some sort of hair design for androgynous people or masculine people. And as for the eye color, I did give them green eyes, as that was something that I personally did on my noob Forsaken design. And you know what? Why not? Then of course we get to Crossroads, as at the end of Nostalgic. I don't know if this will be kept in the remake, but what looked like the uniform for the RIS, the Roblox In-Between Society, was stolen by the player. And so the idea is, of course, he kinda just kept it. There really isn't too much to say. And then we get to Underground. I basically just use characters like Nia, Hunter, and Hoff, as well as, of course, Beck, as references to draw the armor. I tried to have it be both simplified, so I can easily replicate it, while also complicated enough to where you understand what it is. For example, of course, he is wearing a bulletproof vest, or at least it's supposed to be bulletproof, although for the actual design, translating it from Roblox to, you know, real life, I decided to actually try and at least look up FBI wear, at the very least to get some ideas. And yeah, don't exactly have too much else to say. Those are the designs. Now there is one more thing. I made sure to put in the RIS logo, which is basically just the Roblox logo but with 2 lines on different parts. Basically just, I put it on the chest of the main uniform, and then I did put it on the chest of Underground, but realistically it would be a patch on, say, on his arm or something. So yeah. Now, the second game that I decided to choose was actually Block Tales. I was originally only going to do 2 designs, Prologue versus Post Chapter 4, but I ultimately decided to add in one more because a part of this player's story is that this character was transported from the future to the past, specifically 2010. I tried to go off of this character being from around our current time, so like 2025. I did use some of the other player designs as kind of a basis, or at least a reference, although I did try to make my own design. So first off, let's at least go over pre-prologue. You know, when they just time traveled. I didn't exactly show it, but what I wanted to, if I'm going to make a legitimate illustration with this character, I'm going to try and show that they're not really doing too well in life. I decided to just give them something simple like a hoodie and sweatpants, and their shoes, well, not exactly shown too well, are supposed to be incredibly beat up. Like, you can literally use you can quite literally use the shoes as, like, puppets. That's how beat up they are. I decided to use the nostalgic Hangout Saga player as kind of a basis for the heights. So I made the Block Tales player a bit shorter than the nostalgic player. But anyways, as for the actual design, aside from just a couple of things, I decided to just throw them in a hoodie and sweatpants because it's fairly simple. And as for the hair, at the very least, for the past version, I decided to use a picture of myself as a reference. I'm not putting the picture up, just so I had a hairstyle a bit like the one shown.
Was hoping I didn't have to use this, but here we go. I forgot to mention that the current player's hairstyle is based on an older Roblox hair, specifically the rock star with side-swept bangs hair. I wanted to use that specifically due to it being one of the older Roblox hairs, being released at the very end of 2009. Also, I used the Bloxer t-shirt design on the shirt to make the shirt more visually interesting. Anyways, back to my voiceover.
For the actual Prologue player, I decided to get them new clothes. I tried to sort of base it off of 2010's fashion. That beanie was a part of it, in fact. Just looking at them, they definitely look like they're from the 2010s. They do have their hoodie tied up around their waist. The main difference that I did do for Prologue and Post Chapter 4 was just I gave them different expressions. I was originally going to give Post Chapter 4 scars, but I ultimately decided not to. Maybe in the future I'll add on scars to the design, but for the most part right now, they just gonna look the same. And now, finally, the Get a Snack at 4 AM player. I will say, as of actually doing the voiceover, I did forget to add on the red hat that the player has. Moving on. This is going to be the shortest one because I'm not going to go over Get a Snack at 4 AM just because of time. Because, as you can see, I don't exactly have any other versions of this player. This is a little basic summary of Get a Snack at 4 AM. It's a collectathon game. In other words, you will die in various ways or just do various stuff and get different endings. My least favorite is the Soda Flood ending. Take a wild guess why. Snackcore does actually have more content, as it is the remake, as well as it does definitely have more of a story than the original. The original kind of boiling down to toothpaste and orange juice and explode because yeah, how did I make their design? First off, I did, of course, base them off of a general noob, since that is what they are. The only thing is just I forgot their hat, so whoops. My bad. I gave them some pretty comfortable clothes, mainly a hoodie and sweatpants. Yeah, I know, real original concerning what I did for the Block Tales player. But here's the thing, this character is supposed to be. This character woke up at 4 AM and decided, I hunger. I'm hungry. Food. So yeah, I gave them a bit more messy hair. I did decide to make them barefoot. For the love of God, I don't want any weird comments. Please fuck off! I did decide to make them barefoot because honestly, congratulations. I'm making this design however I want. And I don't want to, and I decided to make this character not wear socks. Shut up! I don't have too much else to say, just that's the design. And so let's get to the reveal. Woo! Yep, we got all the designs. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good whatever, and bye!